Okay, so yeah, like I said, I got back to Tbilisi after the Batumi summer vacation, and I was just like, ah, I love this. I love this place. I feel so good here. And like that was kind of like I don't know, it was like amazing because I had like these expectations for Tbilisi before I went there. It's like it looks awesome, it has nature, unlike Buenos Aires. And like I said, when I got there, the first week it had gone beyond my expectations in terms of the geography. But in terms of like forming like a social life that was exciting, like again, it had sort of exceeded my expectations by the end of the summer of the first year. So I was coming back, I was just like, this is amazing. And like I had 1 week before school started at International House. And I remember like volleyball magic is continuing. I'm also trying to like make sense because even though, like I said, Tbilisi has exceeded my expectations in terms of geography and the social scene is amazing. I'm also like, I'm a person, I've mentioned this before, probably in my Buenos Aires videos, I need to make sense of a space. So like Kamloops is really easy because the valley boundary sets the world. You can't see beyond that. That is your world. It has a frame. Buenos Aires was completely different because it's a flat sea of concrete. Like there's no boundaries with mountains or anything like that. There's the river on one side, the giant river that's like a sea. But in terms of like having a frame for the city, it doesn't exist. Now Tbilisi, it's like Kamloops. Like there's definitely a frame, but there's like multiple frames because like I said, it's not a bowl. There's like multiple ridge lines, multiple like whatever. And so one of the things I mentioned it early on in the previous video or the start of my first year there, I want to do this like Shiam Gvime hike where I go from Tbilisi, from our boundary of our valley in Tbilisi, over the edge of that ridge, down into the next ridge line, and then all the way to this like monastery called Shiam Gvime, and actually connecting then to Mesquita. Mesquita is like probably by like birds line, like flying distance, probably only like 5 or 10 kilometers from Tbilisi, but it's this little village. It's the original capital of Georgia before it was moved to Tbilisi. Tbilisi means like warm water or something. I guess the king at the time in Mesquita was doing some hunting with his falcon, and his falcon crashed. And we found it was in Tbilisi by these like hot springs, thermal springs that come up from the ground. And so Tbilisi became the capital. But before that, it was Mesquita. And Mesquita makes sense for a capital because like Kamloops, two rivers merge in Mesquita. I'm probably showing you some video of this right now. So anyway, what I wanted to do, I'd been to Mesquita in the first year, but like taking a van there and checking it out, right? And that was really cool. Probably got some video of that I'm showing you right now. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to like walk on foot from like our valley in Tbilisi over the hill and then down into the valley of Mesquita. I wanted to like do it on foot, right? And so the ultimate dream was to go to Shiam Gvime and then to Mesquita, which is like a really, really long, crazy walk. And I don't actually know if there's a trail that goes from the ridge by Chili Lake and Deedgori Mountain down to Shiam Gvime. I don't know. Like I kind of thought there was, but I had never actually checked it out. But I'd still plan to do that hike at some point. But this hike that I did the week before school started, it was just our Tbilisi ridge down to Mesquita without going to Shiam Gvime. And I found the route. It was super cool. I probably got some video of this. I remember catching the van in, they're called marshutkas, in from Mesquita at night and had to stand up because there were so many people in it. And I remember my brain really like processing a lot of stuff there too, like in terms of space, where's my space, what is my frame, all of that kind of thing. So anyway, there's all that happening, but in general, I'm feeling like amazing in my life, as you saw in the first video from year one by the end of the year. So volleyball is continuing, everything's super good. School starts and something weird happens here. So during COVID, Pele, he didn't want to teach online. And so then there was kind of a fracture and he ended up being sent to New School, which is a private high school in Bagebi, owned by the wife of the boss of our institute school. An institute school is like after school, high school students come, college kids come, adults come. It's not a public school or a private school. It's like for language learning. But Pele had been sort of transferred because, you know, he didn't want to teach online. So he kind of went to New School, this private school. But by the end of that first year, Pele had already made the transfer to New School. So when we started year 2 at International House, Pele was no longer with us, although he was still hanging out with us. And this new girl, Shanae, had come in as from Australia as another foreign English teacher. So there's Shanae, Ross, and me, and Sam, this girl at New School, who are foreign teachers from native English-speaking countries. But Pele is now over at New School. So he's kind of moved out, right? But Shanae is like super cool and super into hiking. So she's now hiking with us too. I think we have a cool photo of us hiking Asureti and Kojori. Kojori is this really interesting region as well. I explained Miskreta, but Kojori is kind of up the green side beyond Turtle Lake above Tbilisi, like higher altitude. And it's a very, very green area, very small little village, but they have this crazy, crazy castle there. It's like a fortress that overlooks this huge, huge area. So I'm probably showing you some footage of that, and that was amazing. Another hike that we did, we went to Markkopi Monastery later in the fall. Shanae, Pele, Ross, and this dude Cornelio, who I played volleyball with. I got some amazing footage from there. That was an amazing hike, and that was super cool as a crew to do. So like I said, Pele had kind of like migrated away from our institute, but was still part of our crew. And also another thing in parallel with that was like, as volleyball moved to indoors, it got colder. Dima, who was probably my closest homie from year one volleyball, he kind of started migrating away from volleyball too. And he had been the organizer, like I say, for the slacker Tbilisi fun sport side of it, not the hard sport guys. I guess he started losing interest in it or something, or becoming more interested in like, I don't know what to call them, like more hippie activities, like deep breathing and like meditation and like gongs and things like this, which, you know, it's cool. Fair enough. That stuff's super cool. Not really what I was into at the time, and maybe not what I'm into now, but cool. So he kind of migrated to that. So I felt like Pele kind of left like International House, but stayed part of the crew. Dima kind of left the volleyball crew, but stayed still connected somewhat. And the way that Shanae had kind of like come in as the replacement for Pele, this dude who I'd met in the summer of the first year, Sergey, kind of ended up becoming much closer to me and a big part of the volleyball scene. Not that Dima wasn't hanging out with us, but he wasn't playing volleyball as much. So Sergey kind of, in a weird way, was like Dima's replacement, and Shanae was like Pele's replacement in terms of like infrastructure, not in terms of actual connections, right? So anyway, so volleyball is good. Then we head kind of into winter, and we hit this like lockdown period shortly after winter, but winter itself was really cool. Not winter, Christmas. I remember for New Year's this time, I went to a party at Shanae's house. And then I got kind of drunk, and I was like, I got to go over to this other party at Sergey's house with the volleyball crew. So I'm running over from Shanae's party to try to meet up with the volleyball crew, who were going up to a ridge to watch the fireworks, because I love the fireworks. And I'm running with my cell phone, and I'm drunk. And I guess I trip and boom, drop my cell phone and like break it, right? So I get to Sergey's house, I'm drunk. I get to the crew, the volleyball crew, explain to them. Then we go to Sergey's house. We eat this really disgusting Russian food. Like, I don't like Russian food. It was like disgusting, but we were hanging out there. And Sergey's like, bro, I got an old phone you can have. So he gave me a phone, so that was all good.